Greetings of the day. I am Bhavna Isar from Caregiver Sathi, and it is my absolute pleasure to have yet another conversation with someone that we call a gentle warrior. Warrior, well, I wouldn't ideally like to call these incredible individuals warriors. I would rather that they are actually healers or something else. Maybe we don't even have a good term, but in the spirit of what they have to do on a daily basis, I do think the emphasis is a little more on the gentleness than the war that they are facing every day. Caregivers are gentle warriors in our everyday lives, and we wish to see them, acknowledge them, honor them, and learn from them. So, there are caregivers all around us. And today we are going to have a conversation with one such person, Rama, who will tell us about what has been her story about being a caregiver. Just does she even see herself as a caregiver? Who does she see herself as? And what has been her story like? Welcome, Rama.
Thank you very much, Bhavna, for that brief introduction about caregiver Sati and naming us as a gentle warrior. Thank you for that. Um, just to introduce myself, at the age of 23 is when my caregiving journey started. When I got married and immediately had a child within 6 months, I conceived. And in a year's time, I think my first anniversary, I had my son, Shravan, all smiling, the newborn. As any other parent, my dreams for a child was huge. At that point in time, it was marriage and getting a child immediately. Yeah, some 22
Which
years,
year was this, Rama?
1997.
Right.
Uh, yeah. So you do your education, 20 years of education, become a graduate, then work for 2 or 3 years, then get married and settle in life. That was a goal at that point in time. And I think I was the first person going for work in my family. My mother was a homemaker. Daughter, I'm the second daughter. Three daughters we were, and my son was born. Little did I know that I'm going to become a caregiver. Until then, I was a carefree young woman playing badminton or going for a walk or playing with friends and being happy all around. And
Mm.
within 6 months, when my son was born, the family doctor diagnosed, saying he looks like a little a mongoloid kind of a features, and probably he is Down syndrome. We might have to go in for a blood test. So we didn't have the guts to do the blood test. We also could figure out something was wrong with the child because the child was very slow in achieving his milestones. If he has to hold an object in 6 months, he was not doing. If he has to walk in 1 year, he was not doing. So everything was delayed, and that came as a shocker for us. And for me, it was a little taken aback because why me? God has chosen me. Why was this? Why is this happening to me? Was a kind of a guilt because I was thinking probably I should have delayed having a child because 6 months before my marriage, my dad passed away. So is it because of that effect? He was very proud of my marriage. He saw my husband's family. He was so happy to fix the wedding for us. The mandap, everything was fixed. And few weeks before the wedding, he passed away. And the wedding took place. And after 6 months, I conceived. And then probably was thinking, is it because of my not taking the right decision of whether to have a family now or not? Is this happened to my son? Why does this poor boy get affected? So much of guilt and everything, but I couldn't share only with my husband and my in-laws. But my in-laws and my mom were very supportive. They said, "You guys should not be like this. You just enjoy your life, and we will see how we can take care, and we will offer you support." The first support which came was from my own parents and his parents, my mother and his parents, and that's how the journey began. And I got into a corporate job that point in time, which was Castrol in Chennai, and never did I tell anyone that I have a son like this. Everyone used to ask, "How is your child?" I would say, "Yeah, he's fine. He's growing. He's doing well." And because I didn't want to label the child as how doctors labeled him those days was retardation or whatever. I didn't want to accept it. No, as a mother, I was hoping he would get better every day. So that's how the journey started. And challenges, yes, of course, in terms of getting the right school, putting him in a play school, everywhere there were rejection because it was not,
Before you go further, Rama, what was the diagnosis?
it was Down syndrome. So we
Down
did a
syndrome.
blood test later the next year. I think
Mm,
97, we did 97 or 98, we did the blood test and it revealed he has an extra
mm,
chromosome in the
mm,
21st pair. So all of us have 42 pairs of chromosome. This boy had one extra X chromosome in the 21st pair, which it is it is multiplying in every cell. So all of us have
mm,
46 chromosomes. He has 47 in every cell. So that
mm,
is slowing him down in all the processes. So some
mm,
children get affected with heart anomalies they have. Some get
mm,
affected with thyroid. Some
mm,
are very, very slow. So the development is unique for every individual who has Down syndrome. For him, it
mm,
was mild to moderate retardation. So
mm,
training was the only thing which we could do is what doctors said. So like every other parent, we wanted to put him in a good school. While we
mm,
could afford, we could not. So we were going in for special schools and special curriculum. The normal
mm,
schools turned him off. So we tried until the age of 7 or 8. Every year we'll put him in a school. They will again turn him off, saying that he's not achieving his goals. So we can't. Other parents are saying that they are mimicking what Shravan is doing. So we don't
mm,
want. So it was rejection, rejection, rejection. And it was just silent crying inside, not showing it out, rather at work nor at home. Because parents should not get disturbed. Office may my work should not get disturbed because we have to earn to take care of him. So that was very important at that point in time. While we were building up on our career at 23 and 28, my husband and parents at home taking care of the child. So that was a real challenging task at that point. So then, yeah,
that's hard.
yeah, it was a real hurt um, because for someone who I was telling mom, my personality type was to just be playful, playing carom board or running here and there and talking to neighbors and going with friends. Everything came for a halt.
Mm,
I didn't socialize much. I was
mm,
only going to work, coming back, being with him, giving him all the therapies in terms of physiotherapy because his muscle tone was very weak. So the children have their muscle tone. It is very weak, and we have to develop it through physiotherapy, making him walk in the sand. So luckily in Chennai we have the Marina Beach. So weekends was Marina Beach with Shravan, making him walk in the sand so that he gets the strength and the bone density increases. And slowly, at the age of 3.5, he walked. So these children, for young parents now, I keep telling them, don't get worried. They do everything as we do, but it is delayed. That's it. So have patience. That's the only thing which I keep telling the young parents because I'm a part of the Down syndrome parents group also where we share instances, we share their small achievements. So for a normal child, if coming class first is a big happiness, for these children, if they eat on their own or if they drink water on their own, or if he tells me how to make a banana milkshake, my daughter loves to ask that question to Shravan. He will tell, take a banana, put some honey, put some milk, put it in the mixie jar, the sound will come and have a milkshake. So at 25, this boy tells this and it gives a lot of happiness for us. So while he's a young adult, the way he communicates, so slowly he's becoming independent, and that journey is such a beautiful journey which we had with him. Probably God has chosen me so that I become more empathetic and he inspires me, and that's how every day keeps going up and we keep moving in life with that. And recently, I think with COVID, that was another challenge because so he grew sorry, I'm jumping from the age of 3.5 going to school, play
mm,
school rejection, then from there put him in a special school, there he went up to the age of 15. So we were also continuing to work, growing in our career. Probably during family day occasions, I used to take him to office family days where people used to meet. Some would ask me what's going on with him, some would not even ask. So for those who ask in confidence, I would tell them that yeah, he's special child. But those who don't ask, they just stare and go, I just leave it and I don't get bothered. But sometimes it hurts when we go to malls or to movie theaters or when I take him for weddings. When he eats on his own, he's a little messy. So he spills because the hand-eye motor coordination is very less in these kids. Even now, I have to mash the food and give him so that he eats with a spoon. He spills, but it's okay. We have accepted. But there are people who watch. So those days, probably early 2000, where people used to look at him like as if he's come from some other planet. That used to hurt. So probably it's evolved now with so many people understanding and empathetic about these kind of children. Those days it wasn't like that. There was not much of Google resources also. But I used to, I think from year 2001 or 2002, after my daughter was born, I started Googling to find what is new, what has come up. So we have to be on the constant search to find what special aids are there to help these children learn on their own. So there is some Avaz network which I see where uh, the speech therapy can be given. The if the child types a word, it also gives a sound. It gives it improves their vocabulary. That kind of app is there. So that's how we keep developing him. Now he does some little bit of data entry at home. And with COVID, got a weaving machine because the center was shut. And last 3-4 years, I also quit my job because my daughter was doing her CA inter, and now she's a CA finalist. She's finished her 3-year articleship. She's preparing for her CA final, and my son has been a big motivator for her. He tells Shreya, you study well. He knows that you study, you grow. But he says he doesn't want to study because while he's done his class 10 through open schooling mode, where you have to give him a scribe so that he tells the answers. And that's how he did it up to class 10. Beyond that, he couldn't pursue. While I pushed him, he went into depression. So this is one learning for parents, not to push your child, because being my first child, I wanted him to achieve. So up to the special school trained him for National Institute of Open Schooling, and they said 2 papers he writes, he gets class 10 certificate. Another 3 papers he writes, he gets class 12. So I did try with that. Up till 10th he did. Beyond that he said I can't. So he went into some anxiety because he was comparing himself with the sibling. Sibling was growing, she was getting 10 on 10, or she was getting awards in school. So these children, they are aware of what the other children do, and they also feel inside that they are unable to achieve it. So how to balance that mental trauma which they have is a parent's responsibility to keep both the children happy. So since then, I thought, okay, let me stop him from pushing himself for academics and let us go vocational. And that's how I put him in a vocational therapy center in Mylapore, which is some 15 kilometers away. And the center head was very cooperative, and she's Mrs. Rekha Ramachandran. From the time Shravan was born, she has been my mentor. So only person whom I confide with in case I'm upset with his behavior or anything at home is only her till now. And
Tell me, Rama, when you mentioned that today you are, you are a part of a group called Down Syndrome Parents something
support group, yeah.
support group. Did you know about this when you had Shravan's diagnosis?
No. So that was the time we didn't know. And in 1998, there was a news article in the paper about Down Syndrome Federation Society. And
Okay.
prior to that, I need to tell you this, where in 1998, we went for a second opinion to another doctor who was a very leading child specialist in Chennai. I do not want to name him, he's no more. But the doctor, the way he consults or talks to people is he gets all 10 parents together in the room because there are a lot of people waiting for him. He gets 10 parents inside his cabin, and then he points out, oh, this child is crying because he has loose motion. My child is crying because he has cough. So then he pointed out us and he said, your child is Down syndrome. You can't do anything with him. You please go and have another child. So blunt.
Wow.
So it was again a big shocker. And first day I saw my husband crying. He burst out. And that was the time then we took a note that we should not cry. Then what will the child do? Child is suffering and we need to help the child. And if we, so then that became a big turning point for me. I said, no, I will do something to see this child achieves and take him to the back to the doctor saying that he's done his class 10. I did that. And because certain things, it hits very hard on you. You are
Yeah.
unable to digest, but this is what he said. So there were no resources, no internet to Google. But one good thing was after a few months in 1998, there was a news article about this lady who I spoke about, Mrs. Rekha Ramachandran, who is the president for Down Syndrome Federation of India, where she spoke in United Nations about these children in India, what support they need, what inclusivity they need for these children, the curriculum in the school, how it has to change, all of that. And that really helped me to contact her. Then I went to her center and she said, no, no, you continue to put him in a normal school. I told her, ma'am, it's not helping because there is no attention for him from the normal school, or the normal children do not mingle because these children are quite slow. He is not at that pace, I can understand. So that's how we moved him to a special school, and then it really helped him groom as what he is today. No far big achievements. However, what he was and what he is now, we are happy. He's walking inside the house independently. He does his work. He has his own bath. He eats on his own. He talks to people. He goes for a walk in the evenings. And I think what more do you want here? So we think that at 50, 55, we retire. I assume that at 25, he's retired and I'm taking care of him and we are there to take care of him. That's it. And this weaving is therapeutic for him, and that's what the center had suggested. Why don't you invest in a weaving machine for him? And so me and my husband went to learn weaving some 3-4 years back in a center in Chennai. We learned the art of weaving, and from then, I think no looking back, we've been doing at least 5 or 10 products in a month. And who comes home, I gift, or whoever is asking for it, we send it at the cost price of the yarn. That's it. It's not a business. It is just to keep his time and just to say that you're a founder and I'm your secretary supporting you in your journey of weaving looms from Shravanam. So that's how he's motivated and he's happy. So I would say that happiness is important.
You should account for the cost of his time and his skill, in addition to, of course, the cost of the yarn. And I think it's a beautiful thing. Any artist would final product would be all the cost put together. So why not for Shravan?
I agree with you, Bhavna, that if it is a business, yes, but this boy doesn't know the value of money. You give him 100 rupees or 200 rupees, he doesn't know the value of money. So it is only we who know the value of money. So it's okay. He's happy.
Yeah.
He's proud in saying that I'm a weaving engineer. So whoever comes home, he tells, when I introduce my daughter to people saying that she's studying, he would first come and say, I'm weaving engineer. I do weaving. He does his action. I do weaving. That's enough for me, and that gives more
Oh,
happiness.
yes, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, we need artists and we need weavers and we need people who can do work with their hands. So why not?
Yeah.
And of course, thankfully, over the last 25 years, our sensitivity to different types of intelligence and different ways of being has also gone up. Fortunately, hopefully, even in Chennai now, doctors or pediatricians will be a little more mindful than they were.
Yeah.
Sorry that you
Yeah.
had the experience.
Yeah. So they're more sensitive. So I've seen this when I've shared with the parents group. I've seen parents of my age sharing the same experience what they had those days with doctor. So that was
That's harsh. I mean, it
yeah.
was really, really harsh. But I'm grateful that you're giving us that context because no wonder you can be called a gentle warrior, having to fight this unnecessary battle at one level.
Yeah.
But at the same time, remaining compassionate and gentle and determined to support not just Shravan, but probably, both your husband and you must have vulnerable moments.
Yeah. So but we never missed to do these hobbies. Huh? I used to play the
Mhm.
violin. So
Oh, nice.
after coming back from work, I play on my violin for 20-25 minutes. That gives me, that makes me more meditative and calmer. So sometimes my father-in-law will ask, "What you playing for a long time?" I said, "Yeah, I need to de-stress." So I do that, and I become more happy when I come out of the room. So coming back from office,
I,
yeah. And Shravan has a keyboard, and I've taught him to play little chords, and he plays that. My daughter sings, so sometimes we do a music jam at home together. So he loves that. These children love dancing. They love life. Uh, if you've seen,
as should we all, as shouldn't we? As should we all have, you know, fun with the fun part of life.
yeah,
Uh,
instead
you know,
of just
like
cribbing about what we don't have, yeah,
yeah, no, I mean, a gentle reminder, a gentle nudge to us that life is also about enjoying and having fun and
yeah,
enjoying music and arts. I was about to ask you that, 25 years of this journey and every day being the kind of challenge or struggle that it must have been, how did you how did you stay resilient? And you answered that already.
yeah, that one. And another thing, what we do is, me and my husband used to have a meet time every day, even today. I keep telling my daughter, if I have not put on weight or if I'm fit, my weight is stagnant. At the time of marriage, I was 50, 52. Now I'm 57 or 56. It keeps swaying.
Wow.
So I'm maintaining that health because I used to go for a walk religiously every morning for 5 kilometers. Me and my husband together. That so that inspiration we got from my in-laws. Morning 4:30 to 5:30, they used to go. They'll come and make a cup of coffee. We'll get up at around 5:30. So we both go around 6 to 6:45 in the morning for a walk. Then we come back. So at that time, my daughter would go for a skating class in the morning. So we drop her. Then my son would have gone to Shravan will go to the gym. So at the age of 15, I put him in a gym because he was putting on weight with those medicines for anxiety. So it was putting him.
Mm,
He was a little on a plumpier side. So that
mm,
gym really helped him. So morning, it was all four of us going out for 1 hour, coming back by
mm.
7, then getting ready to school, work, and office, and coming back around 8 or 9 p.m. at night. And again, relaxing. Weekends, playing carom boards or little bit. And whatever work I had for office to be completed will be early morning so that I don't disturb my family time. I am an early riser, get up at 4 o'clock. By 6:30, I used to finish my office work on weekend also. So my bosses used to tell me every early morning mail will only be from Rama's office. So that was so then okay. Then I said, okay, let me not be like that. Let me do my work in the mornings and choose to send the Outlook mailer by around 10 o'clock so that nobody gets disturbed.
Schedule them, get it done, but
uh,
send them.
Send
Yeah,
them
of
the
course.
so that I'm not pulled for wrong things or others are not pulled for not sending mails or working. So
Yeah, no,
uh,
yeah.
need to take care of
There,
everything.
there, these days, there is a lot of conversation around number of work hours and
Yeah,
what. And of course, the point is not so much the number of work hours, but probably your work ethic of
yeah,
saying, I'm committed to this kind of work and I want to balance my family time and I want to balance the time at which probably my children are awake. So I will, you know, give them the time at that time,
yeah,
but I will do my work on a couple of other hours
yeah.
and it can be asynchronous work. It doesn't have to be. And I mean, that's sensitive of you to for your colleagues, to not set the trend for the 4 o'clock emails.
Yeah, yeah, because I have juniors with me reporting to me. So I
Yeah.
do not want them to follow. I do
Yeah.
my work report is there, but it comes
Yes.
during office hours, 10 to 6 or 10 to 9 to 6 or whatever time. We
Yes.
schedule it that way and send it. Yeah. So that was
Yeah.
one tip. And
Yeah.
uh, so that walking in the morning with my husband and evening music, it really helped me keeping me
Both
unwinded.
great
Yeah,
points.
yeah. These
They're
days.
both great points. One
Uh,
in terms of physical fitness
yeah,
and And the second, in terms of your, creative de-stressor, and on a daily basis, I mean, that's quite a remarkable practice that you have.
Yeah.
Rama, I remember being very moved and impacted even at the time that we spoke the first time, and even now, that you chose, or you felt it was not okay to talk about this part of you at your workplace and even in your social settings. That must create a lot of stress.
Yeah. So the reason was it was my initial days, and that was a big job offer which I had taken up. So I
Mm,
didn't want to tell this saying that. So I think not even for once in my career, in the last 25 years, I would have taken off quoting Shravan as a reason. I wouldn't, or he's also been very active. Shravan, he was going to his center last 20 years. There was no challenge with him going every day. Only with COVID, it got stuck and it was shut down. And me,
mm,
I didn't want to reveal it because I didn't want people to label him like that, or she has a child like that. And I didn't want that sympathy from anyone from the organization. Or I didn't want anyone, okay, because of this is what she's being given privileges. No, nothing. I didn't take any privileges, nor I didn't uh, get anything because of that. So why the reason to mix family and there is what my mind
mm,
at that point in time. But probably now I feel it's okay to have revealed what is there in an inclusive culture, much inclusive culture, much better workplaces these days. There's nothing wrong in telling. But those days it wasn't like that. I was a real silent person. People would discuss about their children. Hey, my son is in class two and he's got grade one. My son is there, but he's not got grades or not admission in a school also. But I didn't reveal that. I was silently keeping it. As you said, it was a little stressful. Probably I would be crying with myself. I can't show it out, but somehow it stopped me from revealing. I probably I thought people will not understand. That was
yeah,
my, yeah, because it was not so. I think probably the media now talks about these children much uh, these days, unlike those days where it was all closed. Probably these
yeah,
children are not taken out. They were all, I think, senior to Shravan, I've seen. Those children are just sitting at home. Whereas we used to take him to malls and everywhere, he got
yeah,
exposed to a lot of things. It really helped him learn.
yeah.
But me revealing, yes, Bhavna, I didn't have the guts to reveal, to cut it short.
No, and I'm sure you made the decision that was best given the circumstances, and you were gauging that, and those circumstances were different. I mean, today's corporate life, like you're saying, is very different, and
Yeah,
social world is very different. So I'm saying that I'm just very struck, and maybe if I were in your place, I would have also not been very comfortable. And when I think about my story about caring for my dad, or some other family members, it's difficult. Some things are difficult to share,
yeah.
right? It was difficult. I mean, I would say my dad is. I don't think I can think of a couple of my workplaces where I didn't tell.
So when I shifted from one organization to another in the year 2010,
Mm,
I during the interview they asked me about my children. What is your son doing, daughter doing? So I told he was in class 9 and she's in class 5 that point in time. I didn't say that he was not in class
yeah,
9, but I didn't tell them. I thought
yeah,
it doesn't matter. Neither it's going to help Shravan nor them, not the
yeah,
recruiter. So I
yeah,
want telling that it should not be. Probably I thought they would not give me an offer. I don't. So we don't know. No, the
okay.
people's mindset there. They would think that I have a lot of responsibilities at home. How will she come and work? So these were the things that are going in my mind. So I prepared not to tell.
Yeah. No, you're not the only one, Rama. I have spoken with a large number of, especially women, who would not be comfortable sharing a lot of things, right? Because it can be then construed as, you're not ambitious, you might not be a performer, you might make excuses, and so on and so forth. I mean, those are legitimate fears
Yeah.
that one could have. And I thank you for saying this,
And I
because
don't want to have that sympathy from anyone. Yeah, we don't need sympathy. Yeah, but the more you get sympathy, you only they get you into emotion, and you would not be able to work in a professional atmosphere. So I was so free and working and performing. I got a lot of awards, rewards, and recognitions in whichever. I think in one organization we both worked together. There,
yes,
I think I was a Rama. People know me even now. They talk to me, and that's a brand name I built for myself in the
for
organization
sure.
there we work together, and later also. So
Yes.
that's how I built it, and thanks to that. Anyway, it's stressful. I think caregivers are the kind of organizations you going and doing these services and talking about it in corporates. It will really help young parents or people like me to speak about openly. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It is, I keep saying this very often, that caregivers are all around us, but they are invisible.
Yeah.
So even when we meet people, we don't know what caregiving responsibilities the other person has, especially colleagues. Sometimes with friends and family, we know because we interact with them in social settings and personal settings. But at the workplace, like you just said, you want it to be a quote unquote professional setting, and therefore you don't want to talk about some of these things. And also the workplaces are changing over time, so now workplaces are very different from how they were 20, 25 years ago. So obviously things are different, and I do think that earlier one could choose to say my work timings are 9 to 6, 5, whatever the timing is, and then I can shut that and I can come home, right? Over time, the boundaries have blurred. We are carrying work home, right?
Yeah.
And because we are carrying work home, we are also carrying home to the workplace, because we are making our own flexible balances and very individual balances. It's not like everybody is working 9 to 5 or 9 to 6. Some people are working 4 to 5, and some people are working different timing. Um, and therefore it's a different world, uh, and it requires a different workplace,
Yeah.
and it requires us to think about things like caregiving very differently than we may have thought about.
So I
um,
also have elderly parents at home. So with COVID, my father-in-law had a accident and his leg had a fracture, multiple fracture with the leg. And Shravan at home, he was anxious looking at his granddad because he was the one who used to put him in the school van and send him and all. So he was upset. So everything. So probably, as you asked me, the journey of 25 years has given me enough strength to handle situations at home. So it makes us feel more stronger, but we have to
yeah,
keep looking out for resources and asking for support, whoever we confide with, not with everyone, whoever understands us. Yeah.
I want you to think back on your story and think about any anecdotes or any incidents that you look back at very fondly and say, this is unique and special to my story.
Yeah, one thing which the um, when I put Shravan in the gym, because he was under psychiatric consultation at the age of 15, where he was putting on weight and very anxious. He had
Yeah.
sleepless nights for a few days, and the center head said, "You have to take him to a psychiatrist," and we took him. And he said he's got over anxiety, and you have to give him some pills to start with to get him to sleep back. So that we started giving, and he was putting on weight because of those medicines or whatever. So then it struck me to put him in a gym. There was a new gym which was there near my house. So I put on, this boy really enjoyed going to the gym every day. He made a lot of friends. So he doesn't uh, uh, socialize with his kind of people. He likes to socialize with normal people, but he doesn't understand. He can't communicate better. He just speaks one word or two words, but how he likes to be with them. So he called everyone, "Hey bro, bro, எப்படி இருக்க?" So every meaning, bro, how are you? So he likes that, bro, how are you, bro, how are you, bro. So everyone calls him bro in the gym, and other bros may not come on time. This boy will go on time. These children have a schedule, a biological clock. Every morning 9 a.m. he wants breakfast, he'll come to the dining table. Again 3 p.m. he'll 12 o'clock he'll come for lunch. 4 o'clock he'll come for tiffin. So today also I've kept the tiffin for him on the table and come here. So he's that clock is set in. And similarly to the gym, he will go every day, and not even one day he will miss going to the gym. Others will pay the gym fee, but they will not go for a newer resolution they take, and they will not go regularly. But this boy used to go. For 10 years, he was going like that. The gym put him as a brand ambassador, and they put a photograph of his in the board outside the gym. So that photo still I have, where they say that at Highlight Gym, we appreciate Shravan Kumar for hitting the gym every day, and he's our brand ambassador. So people like that in our society really made me feel proud, and I thought it was the right decision for me to put that thing for Shravan, and it really made us all happy. An achievement for the boy that really made us all happy. Thank you for those lovely hearts.
It warmed my heart, and you must share that picture with me.
Yeah,
And I would love to see that picture. And that leads me to another question, Rama, which is, what has being the caregiver or being the parent to a child with Down syndrome, and being a parent in of course 2 children, and then being a caregiver, what has it brought for you? What gifts has it brought for you?
one thing, it's made me more spiritual,
Mm,
more. I I'm quite pious, but
mm,
I've become even more spiritual. Last 4 years, I've started reading the Gita, trying to understand every verse, the meaning of it. So my daughter used to chant while during a school day, LKG, UKG, and all. Every chapter they have to chant, and they get
yeah,
a Chinmaya Mission ka gold coin or
mm,
whatever.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but I never understood the meanings of this. But I used to like the vibes of the chanting, and it really helps Ravan also pick up few words from there,
Yeah.
improve his memory skills and everything.
Mm,
This boy has a
mm,
very good memory, in fact. Uh,
right.
Once he sees you, he'll not forget you. He'll say Bhavna auntie for life. Even if you forget, he will remember. And
Mm,
that's how his memory is very sharp. And so I've started reading this. That is one big gift. And I have become a more understanding person. So I used to handle a team in
mm,
office.
mm,
It was a retail team, retail service operations team, while I was working in a telecom in Chennai.
mm,
Uh, so people used to like me because the team, they used to say, "Ma'am, you're able to coach us very well in simple terms." So, like because with Shravan, everything I have to come down to his level to explain to him. So
right.
that was my biggest strength, where any product launch or any promotion, when the marketing team launches, so going and explain to the store guys about how to talk to the customer, how to
Mm,
be able to articulate it so that your product sells. So that
yeah.
really,
Yeah.
so as you said, no, it's a work-life integration these days. So
Yeah.
similarly, while I was working in Castrol, the 4 values, I think that was my first organization where I worked. Value expertise, energize people, act decisively, deliver results. These were the 4 brand values in the
Mm,
organization. So we were given examples, do videos or whatever during those days. So same thing I used to use at home to tell my daughter or son that whatever you do, please, if it's a maid who's coming home, respect that maid for the work
mm,
she does. If it's a
mm,
watchman who's bringing us milk from down, please say thank you to him. So and how you can energize your own friends, be always
mm,
happy and make others happy, make every moment count so that our life is peaceful and joyful. So it's a Gita
yeah.
mantra. The examples from there I take, and it's made me spiritual. It's made me more empathetic, as I was not like this. As I was not like this, so more patient. Those days I was so impatient, 25 years back. So the second 25, first innings 25, I was so impatient, restless, moving like that. The second 25 has made me a better, matured person. The way I
Yeah.
converse. So my parents or even my relatives tell you, you're more a changed person these days. So in the good side they tell me, but I've also seen that the change which has happened in me is because of Shravan. uh, Probably God thought we are the best people to give him care, or vice versa. Being with us, he's an inspiration because he always keeps smiling, and
Yeah.
that smile keeps us
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
happier, and we want to work for him. And it's vice versa, both sides.
That was going to be my next question, which is, what are the gifts that you think having Shravan and his circumstances or his strengths and challenges both have been for you? So not just the fact that you have learned to be empathetic and patient, but perhaps learned to have a little more fun and perhaps learned to be a little more joyful and consistent. I mean, look at that.
Yeah, he's so disciplined. My
It's a
daughter,
discipline,
she'll
right?
come. My daughter will come back from school or office. Her shoes will not be in the place it has to be. Whereas Shravan will take the shoes, he'll go to the shoes balcony, keep it in the shoe stack,
Right.
come back. Then he wears only two dresses. How much ever dresses you buy and give, he wears only two. So we asked the doctor. He said, "See Obama, he wears only two colors. He keeps changing blue or gray." So this boy is like that. Every 6 months he takes two sets. He'll wear only those two colors. So the discipline, the calmness, the confidence he has with his own family members, all that is are the gifts which we've got with him. So,
For sure, for sure.
so I think, as you said, as a caregiver, the learning is staying strong because we learn from that experience and we move ahead. And the tough phase doesn't stay for long because we get either we uh, challenge the uh, phase and move ahead, learning from it, or we accommodate ourselves to that situation and we move ahead.
Yeah.
So it doesn't stay for long.
For sure. I think I would use the phrase that as caregivers, we learn to adapt very quickly, and
Yeah,
we learn to say, okay, now let's move on and let's get to the next. And I think workplaces would actually gain a lot
yeah,
if we had more caregivers at the workplace. Because just see, you just pointed out, right? Being a caregiver made you a better manager. Being a caregiver gives you the ability to collaborate and to be able to do things innovatively.
so if you see in the organizations where I work for, the tough assignments were with me. Yeah,
Mm,
the getting cross-functional work done on time. It was not easy. So you need
mm,
those interpersonal skills to get work done for people and
right.
make your boss achieve KRAs or whatever. So
Yes.
all of that
Yes. For
really happened because of the skills which I learned at home or the skills which I've learned at office. It's really helped me continue at home also. So it
yes.
really
Yes.
benefits both sides. Yeah.
So I that leads me to the other question, which is that it was so significant for you to integrate, not just bring your caregiving skills to the workplace, but also take your workplace values back to home, be a better parent or a caregiver or a daughter and a daughter-in-law, the other roles that you play, right?
Yeah.
So, but you couldn't, it would be so hard if you had to do everything yourself. I'm sure your husband had to take a very significant part of of the load, right?
Sorry for not having spoken about him except for the walk time which I went with him in the morning. He's been a great source of strength for me. So I told
Yes,
you,
I'm sure.
few weeks for my engagement, my dad was there. I used to love my dad wherever he used to go. I was following him, but
Right.
it was a shocker at the age of 56 with a massive heart attack. He expired at home in front of us. So I used to think, what, we have not done anything for him, and the quick in a jiffy he flew. So at the age of 22, it happened when I was 22. And 22 and a half or 23 was my wedding. And he fixed Amanda, he printed the invitations, but he was not there. So from that time, my husband took on. And he started supporting me. And my younger sister, was in college. And whatever the proceeds from my father's office we had to get, So my husband followed up. My father-in-law followed up. We weren't married at that point in time. We had another 1 month for the 45 days for the wedding. But this family really, the new family of mine really helped my mother and my sister, and my mother and sister, even now they used to say that they used to come and stay with us for 6 months. And so for a change, and then it really, so this family support was awesome. And till now, my in-laws have been supporting us. Yeah, they are with us, 88 and 75. Both are active, healthy, and helping us. And good. So 3 generations living together in this house, Bhavna. My in-laws 75 and 88. Me, my husband in the 50s, and my children in the 20s. Yeah, X, Y, Z, all 3 generations. Needs are different. Everything is different, but the harmony is still there. That's what we
Yeah.
are
Oh,
praying for.
and I'm sure it is not without its challenges. I am sure there are days that can be,
Better. Yeah.
that can cause some tension and that can cause differences.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that notwithstanding, I'll go back to the piece around if the responsibility, and sometimes that is called burden of caregiving, was only yours, and we know so many times it becomes only the job of the mother to take care, then it can be difficult for women to continue working. And then women will make a choice and will say, I cannot do two jobs and I can do only one. And then they might give up on their work
Correct.
and do only the caregiving for the child, especially when there is a child with special needs. It requires a whole support system and an ecosystem so that a active, working young woman can continue and pursue her career, gives her a break, lets her
Yeah.
follow her dreams, as much as others get a chance to contribute to the job of parenting. So I'd like for you to step into your husband's shoes a little bit and say what might have been some of his challenges, especially in the years that you were, it, I don't think it was expected of men to be very active caregivers.
Yeah. So that point in time, it was like the initial years when a child wouldn't sleep. I used to keep quoting that even now. That it was with me, the child was with me in the nights. I was also working. Both of us were working. But if the child doesn't sleep, the child was with me. I have to ensure that because morning, because we go to work, 9 to 5 is my in-laws' job to take care of the child. The moment we leave.
Right.
But after we come back home, it will be the child would be probably few hours. My husband would play. After that, a night's sleep, the child doesn't sleep, late night sleeping and all will be with me. So that was really a little tasky for me at that point in time. But some days he used to take up that job, but he was not able to continue for long. He would
Yeah.
say, "You can better manage than me."
Mm.
So it was a appreciation, or it was giving the task to me. He's a better person to say that. And
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
initial days are challenging until the child gets to a 8 hour of sleep, probably up to the 3 year or the 4th year of age.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
And see,
later when he was going to the gym or to school, my office I had to leave early because I used to travel long distances, 14 or 25 kilometers every day. So my husband used to take him to the gym, drop him in the gym, and bring him back from the gym. Then he used to get him ready to the school, which means giving him a wash and then putting him in the van because my husband's office was close by. So for him, it was 9:45 office. 9:30 if he leaves, it's enough for him. Whereas I had to leave by 8:15, 8:30. So that I used to take my daughter, he used to take my son. So that sharing of getting the child ready, that is a task for the initial 15 years, putting them to the school and getting them ready. After that, they're on their own. So that is the
yeah,
time
no,
when women leave their jobs. Yeah.
for sure. I mean, like
Yeah.
if you had to do everything and it was just abdicated to you, then
And cooking was not with me, it was with my mother-in-law.
Right.
My job was to cut vegetables and grate coconuts and keep at night so that I prepare tomorrow. This is the food we make, and that decision is with me or with my family, whoever wants whatever. Previous night we plan, so it's all planning. Saturday, Sunday we cut vegetables for 2 3 days, and I keep so that there's no disturbance for me in the week. So last five, so once I grew in my career, even this cutting became a responsibility of a maid
Yeah.
because when we work and earn a little bit, we can give it to another family who can support their
For
family.
sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
yeah,
For sure.
that's how it's.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I thank you for making that point about it needs the support of everybody, but the roles need to be clear, and you need to do a little planning, and then of course it's okay to figure out what are the jobs that you want to outsource or get somebody
Yeah,
else to help you with. I think it is just only fair that you enlist as many people as possible and get as much support as possible.
correct.
So I think that's wonderful. Would you be able to look back on your years of going through this and think back at some of those things that you would like to do differently? What might be some of the things that you think uh, you would do differently?
So one thing which I didn't do was the break which I'd taken now in the last 3 years. Had I
Mm.
taken it when Shravan was at the age of 12 or 13,
Mm.
because that was a time he was going to a school which he didn't like. But
Mm.
I had to put him there because my office was there, close by to
Mm.
the school. And whenever they called me for meetings, I used to go during lunchtime, meet the teachers and come. But that also led to that anxiety and depression which he went through at the age of 15. So when I look back, I was thinking, because he used to tell me, Mom, you become my teacher, because there were some teacher parents in the school. So he used to
Mm.
love that. He was always clinging on to me. Even now he clings with me. So he used to tell me, Ma, why don't you come to school? Why don't you come as a teacher to my school? So
Mm.
that is one thing which I feel if I had given that, probably he would have done a little bit more in terms of not academics, at least more of life skills he could have learned much better. Then one thing was swimming. The center head said these children do swimming very well in Paralympics and all. They Down syndrome
Yeah.
children do. They are very well tutored in swimming, and they do achieve a lot of rewards in swimming because many children in the school they've got. So we didn't put him in swimming. Probably the pool was quite at a distance at that point in time. But when he was at the age of 8, all of us went and took membership in a swimming pool, and we tried, but he was fearful and he didn't learn. He was just sitting and he didn't learn to swim. So these two things were uh, one thing I could have changed so that now sitting at home, he's sitting at home just doing the weaving and he does a little bit of walking. Swimming would be even more therapeutic for him. And the pool is nearby to our house now. So probably he could have continued for life. It's a good exercise for the mind and body for the child, even as an adult. So that is one thing which I was thinking I could have inculcated that skill. So I tell young parents whoever has got a child like Shravan to put them into swimming immediately when they are at the age of 3 and let the mother also learn or the father learn together so that it's a joyful experience and a good exercise for them as well for the later part of the life.
Yeah. Yeah. And who knows, maybe with your determination and with Shravan's efforts, maybe swimming can still be a part. We don't know. We don't know
Yeah.
the
So we
possibilities.
have to keep trying. So I keep trying. Life is all
Yeah.
about trials and errors, and which we keep doing.
Yes, for
Yeah.
sure. I mean, people are, I know, in their 60s have learned new skills. So
Yeah.
where's the harm? And I, if you had to imagine a support system for family caregivers, or let's say caregiver Sathi aspires to be the support system for the caregivers. Yeah. What are the things that you think caregiver Sathi could possibly So one is, of course, today we are trying to tell the stories or we're trying to provide certain support systems. But if you were to have the fantasy of and imagine this world for caregivers, what would that look like?
So how could we? So caregivers need their own me time. So
Right.
how can we give that me time? If
Okay.
do people have hobbies? For example, my husband, he does walking, he does yoga. So beyond that, I tell him, why don't you learn music or
Hmm.
something? Age
Hmm.
is not a constraint, as you said. At any age, you can
Right.
learn a new skill. It develops your brain. So why not learn a violin or a guitar or a keyboard or anything so that it helps? So can caregiver sati enable people pursue their hobbies if they already have a hobby? If they don't
Right.
have, why not we encourage them learn hobbies?
Right.
The one. Then how can we be resourceful? See, for example, for me, I would like to have more resources for Down syndrome children
Hmm.
or elderly parents at home. So,
Hmm.
what are the tools and tips for taking care of elderly parents at home?
Right. Right.
Yeah, and for children like Shravan.
Yeah.
And what are the there are different forms of old age
Yeah.
issues like Alzheimer's or dementia or Parkinson's. So
Yeah.
what are the aids we can offer them from caregiver sati? Yeah,
Yeah.
these are the things which come to my mind now broadly.
For sure. No,
Yeah,
I
and
think
it's an excellent initiative, Bhavna, because I think my go-to friend at that point in time, 25 years ago, or even now, is Rekha Ramachandran. So
mm,
of Down Syndrome Society. So
mm,
if Caregiver Sati was existing for parents like us, probably we would have reached out to Caregiver Sati to vent out or just to listen what we are facing now,
yeah.
so that
Yeah. Yeah.
somebody can give a suggestion as to how we should move on.
Yeah, no, you mentioned specifically that you have to, repeatedly look out for things that are now available, for
Yeah,
example. So if, I'm thinking that what you're also saying is if you don't have to do that looking out, and if that can be brought to you or made available to you,
yeah.
that listen, Rama, you are caring for someone with Down syndrome. Here is a new set of things that you could look at, whether it is therapies or it is products or it is, some of the things that either Shravan can do or you can do, could be valuable.
Or another big question these days is what after us, the senior living or the assisted living?
Yeah,
Or so how
yeah,
can we be resourceful from here to
yeah.
equip people who are looking out for those resources? Yeah,
Yes, for sure, for sure. I think not just supporting people who are naive in the worldly ways, have a sense of independence and dignity, but also parents to feel assured that, after us uh, will be taken care of. I think
yeah.
those are important things as well. Um, what about at the workplace? What would you have liked for your workplace to have offered you?
Had I revealed what I had, you say,
Yes.
or okay. In terms of had I revealed what would they have offered, I don't think it would have made any change on that. Probably a
Mm.
little more flexible options. Like
Mm-hmm.
there are many days where I've stayed late night in the office.
Mm.
Prior to I think 2015 to 20, when I was working, I would have stayed till 8 or 9 or 10 p.m. So
Mm.
those were the days when I've seen Shravan sleeping in the bed only. The next morning, I used to leave early. So I used to feel guilty having not having spoken even one word to the boy for the whole week, for the entire week. That would make me feel guilty. Whereas my daughter would not bother because she was in her teenage and she has her own set of people to interact with. This boy doesn't have anybody to interact except me or my husband or my own family, because his communication skill is limited. So probably in the workplace, if I had this option where so it was my mistake not having revealed. If I had really revealed, they would have been, I'm sure they would have been empathetic in saying, Rama, you have a son, you please leave at 8 o'clock and continue working from there. Go talk for
Yeah,
half an hour with your son and then connect the laptop and continue working. So that was one thing, that change would have happened, giving flexi options. Yeah, or for
for sure.
therapies, all therapies I used to push to weekends. Weekend, it
Mm,
was a long queue in the hospitals where I used to
mm,
go for speech therapy for him. So I
yeah.
used to wait, and spend my weekends in therapy centers.
Mm,
Probably I could have gone for short trips from Chennai to Yelagiri or to Aircard or to Ooty or someplace instead of waiting for therapies. So
yeah,
these things could have changed if
yeah,
organizations like Caregiver Sati was existing at that point in time to change the way corporates are thinking today,
yeah,
so that
yeah,
it would have benefited us as
yeah,
parents.
yeah. You know, Rama, I always encourage that it is organizations will become sensitive when we know, and we will ask as employees as well. So it is not possible for organizations to change or to be reflective on what are the facilities we are providing until em- we as employees are also not demanding. So it's a little bit of a
That's what I wanted to say here, that we should not take advantage of what we have.
sure,
Yeah,
for sure.
be performing and
Yes.
little bit of adjustment.
Yes, yes, for sure. I mean, I think if we are afraid, and I totally respect that, and I can relate with it as well. You don't want to be seen as somebody who's taking too many accommodations and who is,
Yeah,
making excuses for their performance. You want to be seen as a performing individual, but
yeah,
at the same time, that also doesn't mean that you don't get any flexibility.
yeah,
So, there can be a healthy balance
yeah.
of
Let it not be too taxing. Just be
yes,
healthy, as
yes,
you said. Yeah.
yes. And you make that great point that, if only you had the flexibility during the week, and let's say you went for the therapies during the week, then you would have more respite and maybe short breaks. That would have been great to re-energize. And those are important too.
So Shravan loves all those nature breaks. So, but we initially we didn't go for long distance breaks because we weren't sure about his health. There were not so much resources available at that point in time. Later, when we discovered that it's only this condition, rest, his health is fine. So then we started traveling on vacations a year, once a year or 6 months, once kind of, and we still
Yeah.
continue that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I hear you. And I think that to be able to negotiate and create such opportunities is also equally important. And,
Yeah.
you know, um, you haven't touched upon it, but in the spirit of brainstorming, one of the other things that organizations can possibly do is, as organizations, when you're representing a larger number of people, you can make provisions for medical or financial support on behalf of a larger number of employees, which as individuals we cannot,
Hmm.
right?
That's
There can be provisions in whether it is insurance or it is with certain partners or it is whatever. You can say that, we are a large number of people. So
hmm.
maybe a provider can give us certain facilities.
It's there in the income tax for section 80DDB where there's some rebate given. There is
Yes,
travel concession in the railways.
yes.
Some parents are not aware of it, but it's available for people who are specially able. There's a 50% concession in the railway tickets.
I
Yeah,
know. So one is, of course, the knowledge of all of this.
yeah. So
It
that should,
also sometimes,
so this knowledge can care. Just to add on the point of caregiver sati, what you can offer people. I think this can be included in your caregiver sati tips for people who are like us, where these are the available
Yes.
schemes with the government, which
Yes.
parents can make use of.
For sure.
Some are not.
Actually, yes, actually at Caregivers for our website, our portal, we have a very elaborate blog and that has a lot of information.
Okay.
And if you do register on the website, you can access that information. And not only can you access the information, you can also contribute by virtue of not just, these conversations, but maybe articles and maybe your experience and maybe your works of art. So
Okay.
you can write poetry or you can make something. And if, for example, I'm going to encourage you to take a picture or a video of Shravan doing his weaving and go to the section on which is called Heart of Care
Sure.
and write about him and say, this is his expression of care.
Absolutely, that heart of care is a beautiful uh, term which you've given there, Bhavna, because that weaving, I got introduced, I don't know what is weaving. I got introduced because of Shravan, because of him I learned. So he is Lord Saraswati to me, who has imparted that knowledge to me and to my husband. And we learned warping, weaving, and everything, and how to make a product. So with the threads, when the product comes out, it's absolutely stunning to see. So from stoles to puja mats to sling bags to pouches and a lot of stuff we started doing. And it really gives a good feeling. So you said heart of care.
Yes. Yeah.
That,
So the
so
two
it is so
parts.
meditative. When my daughter is preparing for her exams, she will be studying till 12 or 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. So I used to keep sitting and reading sometimes. So I give company where it's silent, it's not making noise as my violin. So weaving, violin gives a sound. So whereas weaving is calm and composed. So it makes me feel calmer inside and for Shravan too, and for everyone inside the house. So when the product comes out, all of us are so happy and excited to see how beautifully it's come out. So heart of
So
care,
Rama,
filter. Yeah,
yes, you should. Rama, the way that I would put it is there are many, many forms of showing care,
yeah,
right? If today you were to go and look for pictures or symbols of care or caregiving on a Google search, you will come up with stereotypes of hands, old people, and things like that. But
yeah.
there's so many ways of showing that you care,
Correct.
right? And your weaving and whatever that you have made is actually using art, a form of art,
As a
an artist.
therapy, as a
It's a
therapy.
therapy and it's an expression of care. I mean,
Yeah.
mm, I don't think I would stay up all night if my daughter was studying for her exams. I don't think I have it in me.
No, for me,
But
no, for me, she will be in the other room. But when I see that light coming under the door, when you see that little bit of ray of light coming under the door, I would think, oh, this girl is studying, so let me go and read. Not all the days, few days I do that. Probably during the exam days. Yeah.
you know, mothers like you are very inspiring to me. And I think they're a little challenging as well. But then, there are all kinds of mothers. There are mothers
Yeah.
like me who cannot do this, but we can do other things. Uh,
Probably it's because of the guilt. I'm giving more time to Shravan. So probably I'm not giving that much time to Shreya, I feel sometimes. So because of that, I am overwhelming myself. I don't know. Could be.
I
It's,
hear
yeah.
I hear you, and I think it's a very real thing to acknowledge the challenge of two children, and
It's not a super mom thing which I have. It's only that guilt, always carrying the guilt. It
yeah,
is there.
yeah.
Could have done better, could have done better is the feeling which I always get with Shravan, yeah, and children.
I don't know if it is of any worth, but I don't think you could have done any better. I think you are doing the best that you can. And as someone who has heard your story now 2 times at least, but I think there will be many who will listen to your story and be very, very inspired. And thank you for sharing the human side of it. I think everybody talks about, that I did this, that, and the other, and I'm victorious. But it is so difficult to talk about the human side, which is that I feel guilty. I felt ashamed or I felt I should hide something. Those are difficult things to talk about.
Hmm.
So, from all of us at Caregiver Sathi and all the caregivers in the world, thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you very much, Bhavna, for the opportunity. Uh, because I really feel happy to
Mm,
have spoken to you heart to heart today. Yeah, not with
yes.
everyone I speak so much. Thank you so much for that.
Yes, no, I'm
Thank
getting goose flesh, and thank you very much. And I look forward to see not just that picture of Shravan, but the his work. And I'm also going to invite you to look at the products that he's producing,
you. Hmm.
and put them up on a shop that we have on our platform.
Sure. Thank you so much, Bhavna. Thanks so much.
Thank you.